This hydrangea kit includes 24 petals. You may have chosen one or two colors, and you can use them in different sets of clusters or put them all together. It's up to you on how you want to arrange them. We will start with gluing each hydrangea petal into like a pinched 3D shape, and we do that by grabbing our fine tip hot glue gun and doing just a little X of hot glue. Then I'm pinching one side, pinching the other, and pushing towards the center. So I'm bringing the petals inward, and that's going to create this really neat 3D shape, and our glue is going to hold it together like this. You do have to hold it in place for a few seconds for the glue to set, otherwise it will pop back open. So if you have that trouble, you can always glue it again and hold it again. But we're just doing a thin strip of glue, one and then two as an X. Then I pinch one side, pinch the other side, and press towards the middle. And then I just sit there and hold it like this for a few seconds. And I'm just holding it and letting the glue dry. And you can see one of the things I'm really thinking about when I apply the glue is that I don't want to put too much glue so that it oozes out the top. So when I make this flower, I usually work with 8 petals at a time, and for this example, I'm doing 4 of each color. But like I said, you can do whatever combo you choose, so I'll just do in sets of 8. That way I don't get too bored with one step, but I'm pinching 8 petals together because then that's how I group them in clusters. Now, depending on what you're using this project for, you may want more petals grouped together or less, so you can go and do all of your petals this way, or do a few and then take a break. But you're just doing a thin X, pinch one side, pinch the other, and push towards the middle and hold it. And if you do have any glue ooze out the top, you can always get a pair of sharp scissors and just kind of stick the tip in there and snip off any glue that may have come out the top. And this is kind of what the back looks. You can see it's just a really pretty 3D shape, and as you're making this flower, you'll get the hang of that as well. And I included some extra petals in your kit so that if you have a little mess up, then that's no problem. You can just try again. So yeah, just kind of keep in mind thin strips of glue, and you're just pinching one on each side and pushing together towards the middle, and that gives us the shape we want for this hydrangea blossom. And I'm always happy to answer any questions as you're making this flower. I'm happy to answer it on social media or through email, so never hesitate to reach out if you have any questions as you're doing these kits. Yeah, and I'm just going to kind of keep going through this in case you're doing this with me. That way you can keep watching if it's helpful, or you can fast forward if you've seen enough examples to help you know what to do. One thing I have also noticed is sometimes it's easier for hot glue to show on darker felt rather than lighter, so it might be a little forgiving if you have some light felt like this light blue. The glue doesn't show as much as on the dark blue felt. If it's dried and kind of comes out the top, it's a little bit easier to see. So just be extra careful on the dark blue felt to do thin strips of glue. But either way, our goal is always with felt flowers to not have any hot glue show while making them. So by this time we have a nice little stack of pinched petals, and we're about ready to glue these together into clusters, into hydrangea clusters. So I will show you how to do that. Now this is kind of a fun part because there's really not a way to mess it up. I don't usually think too much about how I'm grouping these together, and I'm just fitting the sides. So I'm doing like a little line of hot glue on the side and then picking up a different color and fitting it beside. Now you can see that light blue one had kind of popped open. I'm about to add a little bit more hot glue in the center because I hadn't held it long enough the first time I put glue, and I'm just going to hold it right now and just get it really nice and secure so that the middle isn't coming open. And then I'm going to turn to the side and put a little bit of hot glue right there, and then just fit another petal, whichever color I choose, right into the side. And for this, I'm going to do a total of 8, and I'll just kind of keep working around this cluster, looking and deciding as I go where I want the next petal to fit. So it's really pretty simple. You're just kind of fitting these together as a grouping. And I used to worry about, making sure that I had them spaced out correctly as far as the colors go, but I've realized once you have it all glued together, it's pretty fun to just have a grouping, just kind of the light and blue work out just fine. You don't have to worry too much about how it turns out. They're always really pretty, even if they're not spaced out perfectly as far as the colors go. And I always tell myself, flowers in nature are not perfect. They're part of what makes them so beautiful are their variances. So I don't worry too much about that while making them. And then when it comes together, they just look so pretty. So just trust the process and know that when you're finished, you're gonna love the result. So I've got one more here. I'm gonna kind of just look and decide where I want to put it. And just usually there's a gap I can find that I feel like, you know what, I think that this will kind of balance it out and then give us a flat bottom to work with. So I'm just kind of gluing any gaps closed that might need a little bit extra, and then just fitting in that petal where I decide that I want it to go. You can kind of tell that's what I'm doing here, is looking to see where I want that petal. And the glue does take a few seconds to set, so even though I already kind of smushed that together, I was able to open it back up and fit that petal right in there. And then I'm just gonna use my fingers to squish it together, let the glue set, and fluff the felt or adjust the petals however I want to where we get this really pretty little hydrangea blossom that's ready for your craft project and ready to decorate. So here is what they look like finished. This is one set of 8 hydrangea blossoms together. The back is flat, ready to attach to a project or add to a stem. And you have some leaves, so you can customize this to whatever you want to use it for.